Most adults are still dealing with their childhood traumas unknowingly to them. Now, what is trauma? Trauma is a very frightening or depressing situation that you went through as a child while you were growing up. It could be life threatening, it could be some form of abuse, you know, and it has molded your mindsets. It has made you emotionally unstable. It has affected the way you relate with people, with your colleagues, with your spouse, with your friends. It has messed up your emotion mentally. Now, one of the things that trauma does, or the causes, trauma causes guilt, it causes depression, it causes fear, it causes shame. Maybe as a child, you were abused, and then you grew up with this mindset that you can never trust anybody. No matter how faithful the person is, you have this mindset that is not real. No matter how much dedication the person shows you, you still believe that their loyalty is fake. Why? Because of what you went through as a child. Now, maybe while you were growing up, your parents, maybe you're from a broken home, and then your parents had multiple partners after they parted ways. You saw your dad doing a lot of things, you saw your mom doing a lot of things, and then you grew up with that mindset. Now you are married. Every time your spouse steps out the door, you think they are going to do something funny. You know, you have trust issues because of the way you grew up. Maybe you grew up in an environment without love. And then when you see someone trying to love you, you're like, you don't reciprocate because in some areas you are dead. Yeah, you are dead in some areas. Maybe emotionally you don't have that button for feelings. There are people that are wired like that. They don't have that button for feelings. They just each time you try to get too close, they just put a shield around them. They just put a wall because why? They are afraid of being hurt. They are afraid of heartbreak because they are not used to that feeling. They are not used to that emotion. There are people like that. Maybe as a child, while you were growing up, you had this community crisis, and each time you sit in your subconsciousness, you could still see the violence in your mind's eye. It has made you, it each time there's a quarrel in where you stay, it frightens you because of your childhood experience. Maybe, just maybe, as you were growing up, you went through so much poverty. Your family had nothing to eat. You suffered so much as a child, and it has made you so stingy that you cannot give out. You cannot share. Why? Because you are still battling that childhood trauma of let me gather enough, let me gather enough. I don't know, tomorrow might be a rainy day. Like I said, trauma is an emotional experience, and it's also very psychological, and it's affecting you as an adult. It's affecting the way you relate with people. Now I want to tell you something. You are grown, you are an adult, you are in charge of your life. First thing you have to do, if you want to overcome that childhood trauma, there is something that actually triggers it, that each time that occurrence happens around you, it just takes your mind back to when you were a child. The first thing you should do is that you should avoid whatever it is that triggers that emotion. If you don't, it will cause a mental illness. Stay away from whatever causes such emotion. The second thing, practice meditation. Practicing meditation, it could be yoga, okay? You just sit down in a calm environment and then you let your mind relax. You let your mind wander to beautiful things, to beautiful experiences that has helped you over the years. Dwell on the positive. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that experience will never go away, but you can overcome it. You don't let that negative emotion always trigger you. Okay? Now, the third thing you have to do, you have to practice it, a lot of rest. Yes, rest, good rest. One of the things that rest does is that it helps you calm down. It calms your nerve. It calms your nerve. It makes you reason properly. It takes away that anger. It takes away that emotion. It just helps you relax. Practice a lot of a lot of rest. Now, the fourth thing, you have to stay away from negative people. You have to stay away from toxic people, especially people that you know that triggers that emotion. That way, you can overcome your childhood trauma. Relate with people that bring out the positive vibes in you. If you can afford it, you can see a psychologist, talk to someone about it, let somebody advise you. Relate with the positive. Have a group that are positive, that you sing with, listen to lots of good music. Go out there, interact. Stay away from what actually triggers that trauma. As always, my name is Bina Kenneth. I am the Big Mama of Africa. Be intentional. Bye for now.